Joining us live is air traffic investigator, or air crash investigator, I should say, John Cox. John, thank you so much for your time this morning. There are, as we just saw there, theories left, right and centre. There's understaffed air traffic control, short runways, too many intersecting flight paths with the military there as well. What do you put it down to?
Well, I think it's awfully early to draw any conclusions. I've landed on that runway countless times and have had military helicopters fly underneath me many, many times. So the flight path for both aircraft is very common. It's routine. It's been in use for literally decades, very successfully. So what went wrong last night is still a question. NTSB is on site. They are starting to go through the evidence that they have amassed so far. And I think that's going to be the whole key, is looking at the evidence to see what went wrong and why these two aircraft were in the same piece of sky at the same time.
So, yeah, I mean, look, it does appear to just be a terrible accident, given what you've just said then. But the chopper got that call to follow the jet. We heard that from that audio. And the pilot would have had night vision, no doubt. Could it have just been a blind spot, or perhaps just looking at the wrong plane?
It's possible. They'll certainly look at to see if they misidentified the traffic. They acknowledge it. And more importantly, the helicopter is told to pass behind the jet. That means they're responsible to maintain visual separation from the jet. And that if they had misidentified it, and they were wearing night vision goggles, according to the Defense Department. Night vision goggles are wonderful. They're incredible technology, but they do have limitations. And one of those is the ability to judge distance. It's like looking through two tubes, one over each eye. So it's not as though it's normal vision. Did that play a part or not? NTSB will ask those questions. But those are the sorts of things that we're looking at right now.
I mean, look, initially I thought, and perhaps too hopeful here, that it somehow, and I'm no expert, somehow there still could have been a miraculous Sully-style landing, but obviously that's not the case. Those passengers, with that freezing temperature of the Potomac River, they wouldn't have stood a chance, would they?
No, I mean, they're talking 10 to 12 minutes before they're hypothermic. Also, apparently the jet rolled very hard to the right, and so that it hit the water either inverted or nearly inverted, and that lowers the survivability possibility dramatically. And the same thing is true for the helicopter. So the survivability of this accident is something they'll certainly look at. But sadly, I'm afraid it was very low in this case.
Yeah, tell me something, John. When it comes to the Black Hawk, are there recording devices? Have we got all the audio that we're going to get? Is there a black box on the Black Hawk?
There are recording devices on the Black Hawk. There's not the traditional black box, which is orange, by the way. But on the jet, there's a cockpit voice recorder and a digital flight data recorder. We'll get those, and we will get some recorded information off of the Black Hawk, according to its manufacturer, Sikorsky.
What do you make of this? And just final one here. Donald Trump, he was out of the gates today and he was pointing the finger of blame towards DEI programs and the Democrats. What do you think of that?
I think it's totally without foundation. Accident investigation has been so successful over the many decades by sticking to the facts and being very careful about differentiating what is fact and what is not. To make some allegation right now about pilot qualifications or training or any other political inference there is absolutely without foundation. So I think that it hurts the investigative process. It is against the worldwide standard for accident investigation. Let's gather the evidence and let the evidence lead us wherever it leads us, and let's leave politics out of it.
All right. That's crash investigator John Cox joining us on the program. Appreciate it, John. Good to have you with us.